Welcome back to the Gametime Greatness Podcast. This is the first episode of Season 2. We have today, not Jake, as you can see, but we have a guest co-host, Zachary Chambers.
How's it going? It's good to be here.
First thing I wanted to say was congrats to Noah.
Sadly.
Unfortunately, yes. Your second championship makes you tied with the greatest fantasy player in our league, me, of course.
As far as he
cares. The number of championships owned by an owner in the league. Okay, so there have been a few changes, and we have some announcements to make. We are going to announce the third leg of the draft. The third, I think I hold it two. The third leg of the draft at the end of this video, so that all the information will be there.
That way y'all can stop spamming my phone with all your messages.
I'll timestamp it below. That way you guys can skip the video for like the Jack and the Cole Bennett's that don't want it. They can skip to the end. Okay, so there have been a few changes in the league. Mainly the Cowboys. They have no Des Bryant and no Jason Witten. So as we know, that puts Ethan on suicide watch. So we have to be very nice and very gentle when we're around him for the upcoming weeks.
Make sure you're texting him and make sure that he doesn't have bleach in the house and stuff like that, because you know Ethan.
Especially the people out in College Station that can watch over him right now. Okay, so we have a few predictions for the playoffs for NFL and for fantasy this year. But first, we're going to start off with two facts from last year's podcast when we made the draft grades. I have the first one. The first fact is that the number 8 draft grade was given to Cole Bennett, who we all could agree had probably one of the greatest teams we've ever seen in Gametime Greatness history, rivaling Jake's of last year. So that was just crazy to see that we didn't really like his team, and he really believed in it, and sure enough, they did.
Yeah, he had a pretty solid team. Probably should have ended up winning the championship, wasn't so lucky to do that. Then Jake was given a number 7 draft grade because he hated his pick of Todd Gurley, which later ended up being his best player. So
yeah, he actually graded himself worse than number 7 because we averaged our draft grades, and it ended up averaging because I had him higher. And we both hated his Todd Gurley pick, and that was by far his best, most consistent player.
That was a good choice by him in the long run.
Okay, so for playoff predictions, we're each making a prediction for fantasy and for the NFL for a team that made the playoffs last year and won't this year, and in the inverse, a team that didn't make the playoffs but we think will. So each have our different predictions for that. I'll let Zach go first for what's your NFL team that you think will make the playoffs that didn't last year?
So everyone's probably going to hate on me for this, but I'm actually going to pick the Cleveland Browns. They made some good moves. They made some good moves in the offseason, and also if I'm right, then I look like a genius, and I'm already looked stupid most of the time, getting 11th last year. So I figured it can't hurt any worse.
Okay, for my NFL team, I put the Chargers. They definitely had a shot to make playoffs at the end of last year. They didn't have the first-round pick, Mike Williams, pretty much the whole year. Him and Keenan really clicked at the end of last year. Of course, once Colin traded him to Cole Bennett, of course. But I think the Chargers are going to be a team that are going to make the playoffs this year. And then for fantasy.
So for fantasy, I normally don't ever say anything nice about this person. And I probably hate on him a little bit too much, but I actually picked Ethan. He usually makes playoffs every year and just barely missed it this year. So I don't think he'll have trouble making it in this year.
All right. And I'm going to receive a lot of flack from this, of course, but I'm picking Colin Holmes. Matt, you and Colin were pretty tied, but I wanted to go with a more hot take, of course. I believe Colin will definitely be improved from what he was this year. He normally has a pretty good draft, and he just rides that out and doesn't really try in the free agency period. But as we saw this year, Colin really tried in free agency. He definitely would have finished dead last, even worse than Jack's team or Mike's team, whatever you want to call it, by a lot if he hadn't tried in free agency. But he really learned how to scavenge the waiver wire for those few pickups that can help him get by from week to week. And I think that, on top of having a good draft this year, will lead him to the playoffs.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd pick me, but, I was sitting down there towards the bottom, so I'll be happy with a higher barely missing this year.
You're rebuilding.
Exactly, rebuild with a completely new draft.
Okay, now our predictions for teams that made playoffs but won't next year.
Okay, so I ended up going with the Kansas City Chiefs. They have a rookie quarterback, and they were knocked out early last year, so that's pretty easy choice in my opinion.
Not a believer in Patrick Mahomes.
No, not really.
So my team that won't make the playoffs that made it last year is Buffalo. I think Josh Allen has the highest chance to bust out of any of the rookie quarterbacks. He might not even be the starter all year. They have A.J. McCarron. I don't really believe in either guy that much. He has a very low completion percentage, but they have an aging running back in LaShawn McCoy, who's their whole offense. So if he gets an injury,
and it's pretty likely for him to get an injury. He seems to be pretty injury prone, although he did pretty good last year.
I feel like he's due for one.
Yeah,
I know it's weird to say, but I just feel like he's due for one. As long as they don't really have that many great receivers, like Kelvin Benjamin's okay. He has a lot of drops. Big physical guy, but besides him, you have Charles Clay, who's an older tight end, and there's really no one besides that. So I don't think they're going to make the playoffs next year. In fact, I think they might get a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
So I think that's how bad.
Definitely a possibility there.
So for your fantasy.
So for fantasy, I went ahead and picked Colin Christian, CC.
He's trying to fight you, CC.
And it's really, we always talk about CC's injury curse. And,
power moves only.
And he didn't really suffer from it too bad this year, and I think it'll come back to bite him this next year. So.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, and of course he'll cry and be sad, but
it's my injuries, man.
So I'm having a hot take. I'm saying the champion of the league, Noah Dunsmore, will not make the playoffs next year. He's going to be resting on his laurels. He's going to be working on his relationship. He's married now with Laura. I don't know why he would do that when he could just play fantasy instead, but
right?
I mean, he probably thinks that's important, so he'll probably be doing that. He has a new job. He's living in a new place away from the league. And I think, as we've seen with like Jarvis and Jack and like even you a little bit, not too much, but you've been pretty competitive because you stay in the group message. But like when you kind of when you're kind of in a different location, it makes it a little harder to stay competitive, a little harder to care.
Have a little bit of a disconnect there from like your fantasy league.
You don't have to get embarrassed every week when you walk into church Sunday morning and all your people are making fun of your loss and your pickups and your drops. So.
And also after you tend to win one, you might relax a little bit.
For sure.
So,
he has 2 championships. He's going to be...
he's up there with you now.
Yeah, he's going to be resting on his laurels for sure.
Better than Ethan, right?
Of course.
He has the 2 instead of...
Better than Ethan. Ethan will probably really hate this video just because that one statement right there. There'll be one dislike on the video. That'll be Ethan.
Yeah, he'll be... Although, it should motivate Ethan more, so my pick for making playoffs this year should be solid because he's going to be shooting for that championship.
For sure. Okay. And then, lastly, we had some questions for Zach. As he was a guest co-host, kind of, because Jake wasn't here, but he still doesn't get away. He still has to answer a few questions. So,
unfortunately.
Okay, Zach.
I'm a little bit scared.
You've been 3 years in the league, okay? 7th place your first year. You had to have been feeling good.
I was.
You didn't really know football that well. You got 7th.
Although that was kind of your team, too, because I had a lot of help.
Next year, I didn't really help you much in season, though.
Yeah.
I helped you kind of before the draft.
Yeah, before the draft. Teaching me all the players and stuff.
Kind of who to pick.
Yeah.
Then last year again, 7th. And
that one felt a lot better because that was all me that year.
And you have to think I'm making playoffs, and then 11th place. Your team name was Boom or Bust. We established that was certainly a bust. Not your best year. So the question is, that you can't tank for draft picks, right? It's not the real NFL.
Yeah. I was hoping, that y'all would just feel pity on me and give me that good pick this year.
Okay, and then do you think you will make the playoffs next year?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
It's not a confident yes.
You gonna get first place?
No. I'm thinking more like down at the bottom, like sixth,
squeaking in,
maybe 5th if I have a really good year.
Okay.
But yeah, this year is a playoffs year.
All right. Will you win a championship in the next 5 years? What do you think?
So everyone knows I watch The Office a lot, and one of my favorite episodes is the trivia episode when they go and one of my favorite quotes from that episode is when Kevin says, if you go fishing for a fluke, that you're likely to catch one because there's a lot of flukes in the sea, the fish, right? So I'm gonna go with yes, but it might be a fluke.
Hey, if Noah and Mike can win with those teams that they won the last 2 years,
hey, anything's possible.
Yes, we get the playoffs, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have for this week. It was a surprise podcast, so you guys are welcome. We're going to be having our draft announcement for the 3rd leg right now. The Book of Laws. In this will be what we do for our 3rd leg for the draft order for the Gametime Greatness Season 8 draft order. I know I just said that, but close enough. This year, we will be doing a random drawing, 1 through 12. If you get number 1, if your name is drawn out of the hat first, you will get to choose a Smash Brothers character. We are having a 1v1 Smash Brothers tournament, all controlled by the CPU. It is important that some level of randomness is always instilled within the draft order. The March Madness, it's kind of skill, but it's a lot luck. You know, getting your playoff pick, that's like trying to benefit the teams that try to keep at the end of the season. We have to keep it competitive. And this is the most random thing we have. Normally we do the Kentucky Derby. It's completely random, but you guys were sick of that this year, so we tried finding something else. This will be a little bit more fun. I'm not sure if it'll be the best. I would have liked to do a combine. I know you guys would have too. It wasn't quite practical, and you guys are complaining a lot. I've been working on this for a couple weeks. You guys think I've just been not replying to you. This is what we're gonna do. So me and Zach are going to live stream the event, the first round. So it's gonna be 1v1. So say I get number 1 and I want Link, and Zach gets number 2 and he wants Samus. We're gonna put on his computer, he has a simulation that we can play Smash Brothers. And we're gonna stream it to everybody in the league, and it'll be recorded too. So if you can't make the live stream, you'll be able to see it. So that'll be all for the first round. Then for the second round, hopefully we'll be able to send it down to College Station if you guys want that. If not, then we'll just live stream it again. That way everyone can see it. So this will be the last.
It's Melee.
Okay, yeah. So we're doing Super Smash Bros. Melee. So you can choose any character within Super Smash Bros. Melee. Basically, if you don't care, just look up Google characters and just choose whoever you want. But this is what we're going to be doing for our third leg of the draft order. Okay, so to be unbiased, we have my sister here. She's going to be recording to make sure that we're not cheating and doing it over again. Pick number 1. Jake Vassar. The number 2 pick to pick their Smash Brothers character, Jack Bennett. With the third pick, Ethan Wright. Will this be all for you, sir?
Yep.
Beep, beep. Oh, that seems enough payment. Colin Holmes.
You're watching Perfect 2 on FX Movie Download.
Cole Bennett.
Grant Roberts. Jackson Jarvis.
In America and face murder charges, but you also feel very differently about what happened to Kaylee, and that has to
Colin Christian.
be you to reconcile.
Noah Dunsmore.
Brandon S.
Oh, can I see your baby?
Of course.
Matt.
Lacey!
Go!